What is going on, YouTube friends? Phoenix61 here. How is it going? So with the new season, there are new ship, new cannons, new torpedoes, new auxiliary weapon. I am going to try to go through all of them in a single video here. So right now in this video, I am, I'm plundering Fort Julise, which isn't, too challenging by yourself, but decent level enemies, right? 10s and a fort, right? But we are using the new demicannons, right? So I am not even going to bother trying to pronounce how to say the name of these, but I will show you where they are and what they, what they are and where you can get them, right? These are available at the black market for sovereigns, basically. So yeah, so we're plundering Fort Julise just to kind of demo them, and then they are decent against structures, but of course it's a demicannon, so you do need to get close. And then we do have the Inferno Maw spring loader unlocked as well, which I am a fan of this particular weapon. Whether or not it will beat out my Le Flou, my my mortar in my sandbook build, but we'll see, right? So, with this build that I have going here, the Inferno Maw, it'll let you have 2 buoys out at once, and then if you have the buoy locker furniture piece, you can have a 3rd, so you can have up to 3 floating in the water at once. Which, as we'll demo here, and again, they're level 11 guys, they're tier 11 ships, right? But we can basically just give them a path of, fiery mines to travel through here. And, the enemy ships do occasionally try to avoid them, but in this example they don't. But as you can see, they drive through there, get lit on fire, and they're almost dead by the time they get to me, right? So, yeah. And then, of course, these new demicannons, the sort of unique perk with these is they have, like, the ricochet rounds. So if you hit somebody, they will, bullets have a potential to ricochet and hit nearby enemies. I feel like that is a little underpowered, but yeah. The other advantage to these spring loader weapons here, as you can see, is it just took out those torpedoes from this enemy. So this is something that I think is a little bit underutilized or underrated at the moment, right? So these can make a huge difference in fighting these new enemies, the chorus fleet guys, however you say that, right? Where you can just use these spring loaders as sort of a defensive measure as well. So in this clip here, I actually have the regular ones, the spring loader 2, like the regular mine loader one, the mines ones, and they trigger flooding instead of fire, basically, right? And so basically whatever element you'd rather do, the Inferno Maw, of course, it'll do a little bit more work within the Smuggler's Pass to unlock that. But yeah, so here I was doing a rogue hunt. I had stacked up a couple of rogue hunt missions all in for the same place, and then we got some chorus fruit, that's from Minecraft. Chorus fleet dudes were showing up here as well. I think I had some of their cargo or whatever, the item in my inventory or my cargo hold, so it was attracting them. But yeah, so I'm enjoying the spring loader weapons. I don't know if I can get behind these demicannons yet. I feel like they're they feel a little underpowered. Like I think even if I'm not in a sandbook, which is where you would want to do a fire build, even if I'm not using that, I still would probably rather prefer the Zamzamas, right? Where the demicannons that trigger the fires, right? So Zamzama 3s. They do have an awesome reload speed, so I'll give them that. But yeah, I'm not sold on them just yet. And then of course we've been using the Brig, so this is the new ship that you also unlock through the Smuggler's Pass. Now, so this portion of the video I've switched to the new torpedoes. These I do like. I think there's, and we're fighting the chorus fleet guys. So these are level 12s. These guys tend to have quite a bit of, they're pretty beefy, right? They've got a lot of health, right? So they do take a little while to go down. But I think that, these torps with the homing, they're, however you want to call it. As you can see, they sort of guide towards the enemies, right? And you still have to do most of the work when it comes to aiming. Like, you can't just send them somewhat near the enemy. Like, you still have to lead the target. You still almost have to fire them as if you're firing non-homing torpedoes, right? To try and get these hits. But alas, much better, much more usable, I would say. I do think that in my, my other videos where I've done a torpedo build with the Brigantine, using Rama's Legacy would be the other choice, right? So those are sort of the strongest ones that aren't homing, right? That you buy directly from Rama for helm, for helm products. I like those are still stronger, right? So like, but they don't have the homing, right? So that's the trade-off there. But I think that like I'd probably go with these because I'm definitely getting more hits per like shot, like per attempt, right? I mean, you could do a straight up flood build with these, and that would be good too. But I'm kind of a fan of triggering multiple status effects on people, right? So maybe throw some fire in there too, like mix it up. But you do you, right? So, but I am having fun with the new torpedoes, right? So I like the new torpedoes better than I like the new demicannons, right? Just for fun's sake, right? As you can see, we've completed the Smuggler's Pass already, and we're only in week 2 of the season, right? So, yeah, this ought to be fun. And I bought the cheaper version of the premium, right? Where you don't get the extra Smuggler's token. So I earned these. Like, I just played the game and got these, right? And it won't, so, as you progress through and add tokens to these 3 reward trees here, it doesn't let me, now that I've unlocked them all, it doesn't let me go in and show the overall rewards. But basically, at some point, you unlock the Brig blueprint, and then at another point, and then there's like cosmetic rewards, there's like a pet in there and some other stuff, right? So, but Gunmaster, you get, this is where you're going to unlock the, the Inferno Maw, and and 1 or 2 of the other spring loaders, right? Shipmaster, like I think there's a hull in here, an armor piece, right? And then the Quartermaster that I went through first really quick, that had a couple of furniture pieces, right? So, but yeah, ultimately, once you progress through here, at some point you'll unlock the Brig blueprint, and then you can go to the shipwright and purchase it. I was going back in here because I was like, wait, I didn't look at the, like, how do I see the overall rewards again? And I'm like, oh, I guess you can't anymore, right? But yeah, Brig, the ship blueprint, and then there's a crab pet that you can get, and 1 or 2 other things as you progress through, right? So we're at the shipwright, so I'll just briefly go through my thoughts and feelings on the new ship, the Brig. Thus far, I'm not a fan. There's a couple of quirks with it that I kind of want to call out. But it is a support class, but it doesn't provide healing, right? The support that it offers is 10% reload for yourself and nearby friendly ships, right? For aux weapons. But this Artificer perk, right? Consecutive weapon hits to a target increases effectiveness of subsequent buoys by 2% for a maximum of 30%. Resets if more than 12 seconds pass between hits. I'm curious if that's subsequent hits of mines from buoys, or if your regular cannons count for that, or, and like, I think that needs to be a little more clear how that works. But alas, we're playing around with it, and it's kind of even hard to tell if that perk is working. Whereas something like the Sandbook, where it's like light somebody on fire and you do more damage to them, is like very apparent to me. And then here I was just comparing the like hull health to the snow, right? So base hull health, starting hull health is 35,000 versus the snow, which is, kind of the tank version, is 50,000, right? So it's kind of like, it feels like it should have more hull health, and I feel like it should have more gun ports or something. So it needs something, because I feel like the perk isn't paying off the way I want it to, right? So if I'm not as excited. But so if you didn't know, you can hold Y or the preview, whichever button, and see what the upgrades will, as you progress through upgrades. You can see what they get you at each level, right? So you can, hull health does get up to 45,000 once you get it ranked up to the fourth upgrade level, and then more base ship, and then the buoys last longer, right? So I wasn't crazy excited about the upgrades here either. For the ship. So I haven't been, I think I purchased the first level upgrade because I had plenty of those materials, and then the second level I'm like, I don't know. But here's my build for what, when we were using the demicannons, right? And like I said, I can't pronounce that name, but these are the new demicannons from this season. I mean, damage is decent. I would say the reload is where it's at with this one. That reload speed's pretty good. That's better than Zamzama's. And then the perks are this ricochet round, right? This ricochet, right? Hits that land on a ship's hull or structure, ricochet towards nearby target, dealing 75% of the original damage. I think it should be 100% because it's not even like it's not like everything that hits goes and ricochets somebody. It's small amounts of projectiles, right? So I feel like it's just that perk's just not doing enough for me, right? Here is one thing, if you notice, so I went to the port weapon and it says gun ports 10 here. That is wrong. But I got really excited that this thing would have, because on the top you can clearly see there are 4 weapons, but when you go to this view here, you can also see there are only 4 additional gun ports below deck as well. And I tested this out too. I equipped just regular culverins on here and took it for a spin, and sure enough, you only get 8 shots per each side, right, till it's reloading, right? So that is wrong. On the back end, you do only get the 2 top weapons, right? So 2 gun ports, that is correct. And then on the front, I do believe you get 4. So you must get 2 top deck, and then there's 2 below deck, right? So here's the Inferno Maw. So this is what we were using in the very beginning of the video, right? When we were plundering Fort Julise. I do like this. I think this is pretty cool. This, with this one, both this one and the regular mines will block torpedoes, right? This just has burning on it, and then if you shoot one of the buoys or it's destroyed by an enemy or anybody really, it does erupt in fire, and that's pretty cool too. So I think you could add this to a Sandbook fire build, right, and go to town. And then what I'll call out here is the buoy locker increased the max number of active buoys by 1. So in my video, we did show that we had 3 going at once. So if I remove this furniture piece, and then we go back to the weapon card, while we have this build, it is showing it correctly now. It will show number of buoys at 2 here, right? So before it showed 3, and then we removed the buoy locker, and now it shows 2. So I'll go and put that back on, right? Because we want that. And then I'll show what I've got. So part of this build, I'm trying to build into the buoys, right? Because that's kind of what this ship is supposed to, have that's where its perks are around, right? So this one increases area of effect. I did just go more hull because I did feel like it's lacking a little bit of hull, although 5% is not that great. And then I did increase starboard weapon damage and port weapon damage for the other 2 spots. Because I was like, at first I was like, oh man, it's got 10 guns, on each side. Like, that'd be awesome. But it turns out it's really only 8. So I don't know, I might pick something else there. Tuning Station 1, this one's new. So that's probably a must for a torpedo build. Let's go over to the black market actually and see, so I could show you, so this is, all this stuff is available at the bartender at the black market, right? You need whatever her name is, right? You need a Nara, right? So, and most of these are, since it's the seasonal stuff, the seasonal items, they cost sovereigns, right? So we'll go and grab these. These are the new torpedoes, Endless Requiem. So these are the ones that have the sort of semi-homing tracking, right? But like I said, you got to do most of the work with the aiming, right? It gets you that last little bit that is where it helps out, right? But definitely fun. There's Rama's Ambitions, kind of garbage in comparison. And then Rama's Legacy that you would buy from Rama in the East Indies. Those are better, but they don't have the homing, right? I have not had a chance to play around with the Warhammer. This is the new rocket launcher ox weapon. I have heard good things, though. And then here are the new demicannons, right? So that's where you buy them. They're 350 sovereigns, so basically you got to farm pieces of 8 so that you rank through and get sovereigns, right? This would be a good one to pair with the new rocket launcher. I think that's what they're going for here. And then this tuning station, so it's purple, but notice it says minor furniture. So you can have a different major furniture on, and this. So this is I would say this is a must for a torpedo build at this point, because you can have a different major piece of furniture, right? Like, this has a lot of perks for being a minor piece of furniture, right? This is, reduces reload time of spring loader weapons by 20%, but only when crew stamina is full. So, like, I'm not a fan of that. Like, that's kind of rare. Like, if you're in combat, a lot of times you're doing full trim on your sails and you don't have, or you're bracing. So, like, to me, that's rare and that's not going to happen that much. So you would have to pick this if you really wanted the torn sails or incoming flood charge. That's where I would go there, but I'm not a fan of this major piece of furniture. I don't even know if I'll buy it, right? And then there are 2 new hull pieces or armor pieces that I have not had a chance to play around with yet. Honestly, I'm still a fan of Black Prince from last season, right? But these have some interesting perks that I think are valuable, and so we'll probably get these and play around with them. But yeah, destroying a target, what was it? Gave you more damage or better reload or something, and then this one has this like charged up sonic attack while you're bracing. That sounds interesting. 6,000 damage to somebody nearby you, that would be nice, right? And then this is the bark blueprint, right? So if this is the ship that you could earn last season, so if you didn't progress far enough in the Smuggler's Pass from last season, that is how you would get the bark, right? If you wanted any of the weapons or other random items from last season, I think this might be the only way to get some of those, is buying this legacy cache, and you have a chance to get one of those items, right? So, but yes, a lot of stuff all in one video, crammed it in there for you. Hope it helps, right? So, but those are sort of just my opinions, thoughts, and feelings. I did equip the new pet, the crab, that we got from the Smuggler's Pass. So once you get far enough here, so we will trigger him. He kind of dances for you, which is kind of cool, right? I guess. But yes, thank you guys so much for watching my video all the way through. We will have more Skull and Bones videos in the works, alright? So stay tuned, make sure you're following. See you next time.